So my name is Keith Reid, and we have a small farm out in Grey County at Annan. I'm the project coordinator for the Alus program, which is ran out of the Markdale office, Grey Ag Services. Just a show of hands, how many people have heard of Alus in the past? Excellent. So we started in 2013 and have come to a full-fledged program. We started as a pilot in 2013 through a 3-year phase where we kind of got a start, and we're at a full-fledged program now in 2017. With 2017, Alus Canada has its own brand now. This is their new logo, which is to represent the three colors, obviously, are land, forests, water, and sun. The Alus principles is what drives the program. It's community developed. Its integrity is within the community itself. We run off of a partnership advisory committee, which I'll explain in a few minutes. So conservation is community-led, and it's forefront of each community. It can be a total different program in Norfolk, Grey and Bruce, Alberta, wherever. It can be integrated into each community. It's farmer-led. One thing that it's not a regulatory program where it's coming from a silo of what people want to see as conservation. It's what the farmers want to see themselves. It's targeted to marginal land. It's not something that's taking good land out of production. It's voluntary. Nobody's forcing you to become involved with Alus. It's totally the farmer's position on being involved. It's integrated. We like to work with other organizations as well. We work with Ducks Unlimited, OMAFRA, Soil and Crop. We work with the Grassland Habitat program. All of these other programs we want to be seen to be a part of and working with. Accountable, we do have AgriCorp. AgriCorp does verify the acreage just on a 3% of our program, so that the funders know that the money is going to where it's supposed to be. Science-based, we're definitely using science as to become accountable as well. There's no sense in funders won't put money into projects if they're not showing a benefit from that money that flows. So as I said before, our public advisory committee is made up in each community of about 12 people in our region here. The main thing is that it's 50% farmers. That's key as far as getting conservation in a local region, that farmers are involved in that say. The other 50% is made up of organizations such as OMAFRA, Ducks Unlimited, great support from the local conservation authorities, so we have lots of technical support, but we also have the hands in it as far as feet on the ground too. So I take projects forward to the PAC. And the three things that the PAC decides is whether they fit the principles that we discussed earlier. Does the activity meet the Alus principles? Is it additional? Are there more ecosystem services produced than what there was before a project was implemented? And does the funding allow, which is pretty basic. So these are, I won't go through these all, but these are some of the top 10 ecosystem services. We're hearing a lot of this kind of buzzwords here lately. Carbon tax, and as of January 1st, it's not really everybody's best friend, but it's costing more at the pumps, it's costing more to heat our houses, etc. These are some of the top 10 ecosystem services that Alus can provide. Carbon sequestration, biodiversity, water filtration, pollinator habitat, which is a big one the last little while, erosion control, species at risk habitat, flood control, drought mitigation, they go hand in hand, climate adaptation, and community resilience. So these are some of the ecotypes as far as the projects that have been completed so far nationwide. 22% of them make up wetlands, 56% of them take up grasslands, 22% of them are woodlands. The project types, as for what type of project we're doing, the most of them are new creation. So not restoring is about 35% and 14% of strategic conservation. So that's strategic conservation means more of a target. We're looking at on a map and seeing that this is something that we want to do. So that is not something that we are doing mostly of. So to date, there's 18,000 acres and counting since 2008. There's just, I guess, a stat in there of an area size of 50,000 hockey rinks, because some people like to see that it actually are aligning with something to visually to see. So right now we're looking for a broad range of funders. So they've come out with a new acre program, and this is part of the media of advisory as far as how they're doing this. So this is funding. They're trying to get funding. Right now we're funded mainly by the Weston Foundation, but we're hoping to grab funders as far as individuals or business owners to invest in a program like Alus. So this is what we look like so far. We're definitely growing. There's new communities starting in 2017 and hoping to align in 2018 as well in Ontario. The largest one is Alberta. They are joining municipalities there as far as their expansion. So it's an easier fit in Alberta than it is Ontario. Ontario is quite similar to Red Deer, where they have a lot of cattle still and riparian areas such as that. I think that even locally we can kind of see when producers become involved, they kind of take part in conservation and they do get excited about it. And a lot of them say we're doing this project for not only for today but for future generations. So it's interesting to see that succession. So how does some projects look like in Grey and Bruce County? There's lots of exclusion fencing projects. This one is on the peninsula. We're working with the Biosphere Association. So this is a crossing and secluded out of the stream where one of the major springs is situated. This one is over near Formosa. This is a pre-photo of the project where it's steeply sloping, where the water picks up a fair bit of speed, and the cattle had full access to. So we erected a fence, and how the program works with the producer is typically 50% of the cost of the fence is provided by Alus. The other half being on the back of the producer to take a little bit of ownership in the project. And then the acreage then that's taken out of production in between the fence, they receive an annual payment. And typically we're signing up for five-year agreements right now, which are totally open, but it does give you that extra income throughout the year. This project is showing alternate watering system. This producer they had access a lot of area close to two large wetlands, and so they've changed where their location of their livestock were and put in this Kelm water system. I'm not sure whether this is familiar with some of you, probably is. But it's a solar-powered battery system that all year works. It is based on a sensor, and when the cattle come up to it, it starts the pump from a French drain to the water source. And it's hard to see with this picture here, but those are holes that when the cattle or the livestock are there, the water is being pumped all the time and back into this culvert. So when the cattle are there, the sensor triggers the pump to start, and then the water just flows until the cattle leave again. Wetland projects, I think after 2016, I think all can recognize the importance of water with respect to the drought. There's lots of opportunities where we can hold water back. We can have extra water storage in times of feeding cattle out on grass. So the benefits that come with this is too many to list, as far as the habitat that it provides, as well as the drought mitigation. It goes on and on. This picture shows, it's kind of hard to see, but in the background there is tree plantings. Tree plantings alongside modern agriculture, which is a kind of a nice juxtaposition. Something that, as farmers, we know that that's happening, but we're also seeing a lot of tree lines come out. And unfortunately, that's what the consumer sees. They don't see some of this link together. So it's important that Alus is being part of the working landscape, and that's what that picture shows. As far as the this picture is just showing a wet area that may have been planted last year but didn't get planted this year. That's something to consider of being marginal land, that we can actually utilize those and enhance them by either planting trees or digging them out and creating a spot for a wetland there. This is just a wetland creation on Grey Road 3. I'm not sure if anybody's seen that or not, but today, driving by it, the sign at the road is just a complete whiteboard, so you can't see it today. Trees and pollinator projects. Again, these are all projects that align with Grey and Bruce County. And this is just a picture of planting trees. And this is our little guy here with a windbreak. Anywhere we drove here this morning, I think it was anybody could see the benefits of windbreaks. Where we were close to trees, the roads were a lot better than when they were out in the open. And actually, we could see in some areas where the complete wide open, the hydro wires were just going like this. I'm not sure if anybody noticed that or not this morning, but I think when we look at trees and put in the right spot, they can work along with agriculture, but also do the benefits that all of society can benefit from. This is just not a real great picture, but it's a steeply sloping area where trees have been planted on. So to date, Grey and Bruce County has 32 projects, 353 acres. So we've come a long way in the last couple of years. We had a slow start, but here we are today. So we had this was just a picture of the Alus Canada group. These are the coordinators across Ontario. They came to Grey and Bruce County this September, where we were able to showcase some of the projects that we had going here. So this is my contact information. If anybody has any questions or want to get a hold of me, that's the contact information.